The last thing I like to watch is entertainers or actors get political. It's just something I can't stand watching.
For those who know him by his voice, Kurt Russell, famous for his standout roles in films like Escape from New York and The Hateful Eight, is back in the spotlight. But this time it's not for his legendary on-screen presence. Instead, Russell has found himself at the heart of a heated debate that's rattling Hollywood: gun control. Get ready to see what Kurt Russell said in this controversial debate. Known for his usual calm and laid-back persona, Russell surprised many by openly pushing back against the rise of woke culture in Hollywood. He's challenging the status quo, making waves in a conversation that's as divisive as it is important.
I really don't care about. I think there's an issue that people aren't talking about with gay marriage. There's a lot of things that they beat around the bush with. My beef, I'm a libertarian, so my beef with advantages.
In a recent interview, Jeffrey Wells, famous for his hard-hitting, no-nonsense style, sat down with Russell, ready to dive into some tough topics. Gun control and violence in films were at the center of their talk, and it was clear from the start this was no casual chat. Wells, with a reputation for cutting straight to the point, was determined to get Russell's unfiltered thoughts, and he didn't hold back.
Yeah, so what are you going to do? Outlaw everything? That isn't the answer.
Just put some controls.
Put some controls. What? So the people who want to defend themselves can't?
No, not so you can't. Just so the idiots can't get hold of them. That's
Do you really believe they're not going to? Are you serious about that?
Yeah,
are you
okay.
seriously? What good will that? Oh my God! You and I just disagree.
Kurt Russell dove headfirst into the discussion, addressing the growing societal anxiety over shootings and violence, especially following events like the San Bernardino tragedy. Wells focused his questions on how society's views on violence have changed, comparing attitudes from the 90s to today, in hopes of getting a deeper response from Russell. But Wells didn't stop there. He cleverly tied in Russell's film career, particularly his role in The Hateful Eight, directed by Quentin Tarantino, by hinting at a connection between the violent themes in Russell's movies and real-life incidents. Wells sets the stage for what is sure to be a heated discussion.
The gun culture. We've lived with guns since, what, the 7th century or something? I don't know.
We all know that right now. Guns is a trope. It's it's not a trope. It's a totem. It's a metaphor that disenfranchised white guys need. It makes them feel good because they're being.
You can say what you want. I don't agree with that. So it's not my thing.
But it's
so,
statistically.
Well, you can look. If you think gun control or something like that is going to change a terrorist point of view, I think you're like out of your mind. I think I think anybody is. I think it's absolutely insane.
It's worth noting that, ambushed or not, Kurt Russell never backs down from sharing his thoughts on woke culture. But when it comes to gun control, his stance is even more firm. In a Hollywood often divided on the issue, Russell's opinion stands out as one of the strongest and most determined. But he doesn't stop there.
The problem we're having right now is that we don't have the concepts of how to turn it around and say, you may think you've got me worried about what you're going to do. Dude, you're about to find out what I'm going to do. And that's going to worry you a lot more.
Kurt Russell firmly believes that the solution to gun control isn't in setting restrictions on who can own firearms, as many advocates of woke culture suggest. Instead, he argues that allowing everyone to own guns acts as a deterrent to those who might misuse them. Well, what do you think of this? Even further, he views the right to bear arms as a core aspect of American values. His defense of gun rights goes beyond just owning firearms. It's about safeguarding the freedoms outlined in the Constitution. When it comes to how guns are portrayed in the media, Russell takes a more balanced stance. While he acknowledges the influence cinema can have on public perception, he rejects the notion that violence in movies directly leads to violence in real life.
Guy bearing down on me as a goaltender, I'm not concerned about what he's going to do. I'm going to make him concerned about what I'm going to do.
I get that.
To stop him. That's when things change.
Obama's point was that the guys who are on the no-fly list because of terrorist connections, can get a gun pretty easily.
They can also make a bomb pretty easily.
Yeah.
So what? They can also get knives and stab you. What are you going to do about that? They can get cars and run you over with them. What are you going to do about that?
Kurt Russell doesn't aim to glorify guns. Rather, his focus is on informing the public and defending his rights as a gun owner. He believes that responsible storytelling plays a key role in shaping public understanding and attitude towards firearms. However, Russell opposes overly simplistic narratives that demonize gun ownership. For him, the issue requires a more nuanced approach, where the focus is on preserving individual rights while fostering thoughtful, informed discussions about responsible gun use and regulation. He's unapologetic in his stance, stating that even if the government disagrees, it wouldn't be the first time they've been out of touch.
Founding fathers had for the Second Amendment, and that is that no government ever hasn't had to fight its own people, and its own people hasn't had to fight its own government. We had our Civil War.
Now, for those who don't know about the Second Amendment, it was crafted by America's founding fathers and grants people the fundamental right and power to defend themselves and their beliefs against takeover of tyrannical government. To him, it's not just a legal provision, but a core principle that empowers individuals to defend their own safeties and freedoms. Now that we're on the same page, let's hear what Kurt Russell has to say.
If that Second Amendment hadn't been there, those people would not have had the opportunity to do what they considered was defending their life, their way, their style of living. So I agree with that. I think that's an important part.
It's exactly that simple. Kurt emphasizes his belief that the right to bear arms is not only fundamental, but also straightforward and indisputable. What's even more interesting is that he's not alone in Hollywood with this viewpoint. Musician Ted Nugent appears to be even more passionate and unapologetic.
I believe that a person's moral compass can be determined by how he references free men the right to defend themselves. The Second Amendment is so obvious to me, it's insane that there's an argument. God gave, let's pretend there is no document. Let's pretend brave families didn't leave the tyrants and the slave drivers of Europe.
You may think that Russell is pissed off with his argument around gun ownership, but you're wrong. Wait until you hear Ted. He completely goes rogue on the matter.
I don't need a document, and I don't need another man to explain to me that I have the right to defend my gift of life, and that there is an argument in America from Hillary Clinton.
In simple terms, Ted and Kurt view the right to own a gun as nothing more than common sense. They believe that allowing everyone to bear arms is a practical way to ensure safety for all, seeing it as a fundamental human right. As for the woke left, they argue that those advocating for less gun control laws needs a reality check. Speaking of reality checks, Kurt Russell isn't just outspoken in interviews. He's unwavering in his belief, even when faced with opposition. On set, he's always first to protect the integrity of his scripts and characters. He won't allow woke agendas to influence or dilute the stories he's a part of, staying true to his principles. The buzz started on August 4th, 2024, when the Facebook page America's Last Line of Defense, ALLOD, shared a meme claiming, "Kurt Russell ends his relationship with woke Disney. I've wasted enough of my career on them." In this supposed statement, Russell also hinted that Hollywood is in big trouble if certain things don't change, sparking debate on whether he's right. However, despite the widespread chatter, the claim appears to be nothing more than a rumor with no solid evidence supporting it. All in all, Kurt believes that gun control does little to stop violence. His stance is that restricting gun ownership doesn't solve the underlying issues.
If you think gun control or something like that is going to change a terrorist point of view, I think you're out of your mind.
Well, what do you think about this? Share your thoughts in the comment section below. And don't forget to like the video and subscribe to the channel for more compelling debates. We'll see you in another video soon.